right, here we are back inside MatrixGold once again. Thanks for tuning in. I hope the videos are helping you in your designing process. If they are, go ahead and smash that subscription button, tap on that notification bell, leave me a like, and please take 5 seconds and drop me a comment below. I'd appreciate that. Also, share the content for others if you can. And then down here somewhere, there's a super thanks button. If you'd like to buy me a cup of coffee, I'm never at the computer without it. So you can do that. Today, what we're going to do is we had this in our Facebook group on how to make something like this, right? Now, there's a lot of ways we could go about doing this. We could do this in SelV, we could do it a Rhino SelV, we could do it in SelU, or we could do it in surface modeling. I think it'd probably be a little bit more interesting and maybe a little faster to do it in surface modeling and point editing. So that's kind of what we're going to do in this video. So if you're new to Matrix, this will be more of an advanced video probably, but there'll be a lot of commands that might be very useful for you in here. So I would kind of stay tuned and kind of trying to get as many of those new commands if you're new to MatrixGold or Matrix. All right, so let's go ahead and get going on this. First thing, of course, we need a ring rail, pretty much 90% of the time. So we have our ring rail. Right away, we're just going to go ahead and select that, go to our curves, and we want to go ahead and change that seam point from the top there to the bottom. It'll just make it easier for later on. We'll go ahead and select that and turn it back to our finger rail so we can keep everything organized, right? So we have this out here. Next thing I'm going to do is, let's see, we'll go ahead and click on this. We'll type in LENGTH, length. We want the length of this curve flat. So it is 54.482 millimeters. So now we'll just grab a line curve. And again, we want to keep everything organized. So we'll go to, we'll just take this one to this layer, green layer for right now. And I'll just click out here somewhere. I'll come down here to my command line. I'll right click and hold it down and drag to copy, right? So I'll copy and then I'll come down here, right click and then left click and paste. So now that's locked into those coordinates. So I'm going to go ahead and just click there. And we'll just go ahead and click that to our center there. So it'll make it easier for everything. Next thing, what we'll do is, if we look at this item, we can see that this is, our quad's kind of maybe going through here somewhere. So this is a little above our quad. So we might want to know where on this line here is our quad. Where did my ring go? Oh, there we go. Yeah, there we go. We might want to know where the quad is on this ring laying flat. So I'm going to, for reference, right, I'm going to turn to my red layer, put these on a red layer here. I'm going to select this curve, go back to my curves menu, and then scroll down here till we see a bunch of points, right? And those are our point objects. I'm going to click on the drop down, go to divide number of segments at the very bottom there, and just click on that. And I already have it set at 4, so we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 segments. So this is our center, which we pretty much know. This is the end down here, and this will be this quad, and that will be that quad there, right? So now we can kind of see, well, I don't need to be doing all that. So how many points do I have out there? Oh, okay, well, right click and then enter. So we can accept those. And I just got one set out there. Good. All right. So now we can kind of see where everything's at. So I'm going to go ahead and at this point, I think we can go ahead and just lock these. Well, change it back to our yellow. We'll lock the red. We'll lock the green. So these we can't pick. And then we'll just turn off our ring rail for right now. So there's nothing I can pick. So when I'm drawing out something, I'm not going to be selecting all this stuff, right? All right, so we have that. Now we need to get that gem out here. So let's go ahead and get a gem, and I'll just click on one, and you can put it to whatever size you want, right? I'll just say this size here. What is it? 5.2. And from here, we can kind of see that it's a little offset to one side. So I'm just going to drag it over a little bit, something like this. And then I'll just go ahead and accept that, right click, right? And then I'll take that and we'll do a gem offset curve. And I'll just bump it out just ever so slightly so I can kind of see it out just outside my girdle of my stone, right? And then I'll right click to accept that. And then the gem, we'll keep it out there, but we will go ahead and lock it so we can't pick that. The only thing that we can pick now is that curve, right? So this curve, what we're going to do is go back to our curves menu, and well, no, we'll just go over here to our quick commands, and I'll right click for split at point, right? So right click and select that curve, and then I want to make sure I have my O snaps turned on and my quad turned on. So I'll just snap it to that quad there and click left click, and then come down here and then left click and then right click to accept that. And then I can take this piece here and delete it. We don't need it, right? And from here, what we'll do is we'll go to a blend, parametric blend. So we'll come up here to parametric blend, blend curves rather. Parametric blend curves. I'll right click there and we'll just start from this point here to that. Oh, I got it locked, so unlock it and select that. Excuse me. Now it drops it way down here, so we're going to take this, and I'm going to take this one past my quad right here. This first one I'm going to go ahead and take past, and it's going the wrong direction, and that one's going in the wrong direction. So we'll come over to our dynamic commands, and I'll go ahead and flip that one and flip this one, so now we have that curve. And I'll just drag this one out a little bit so it's coming along our ring rail there and then past our quad there and then coming up, right? So something, I don't know, just kind of get it where you might think that it's a nice smooth flow, and then right click to accept it, right? So we have that first one there. I'm going to right click to bring back that command, and I'm going to go ahead and click here again and then back down here. And this one we want to swing over to this side, and then this one here I'm going to, well, drag that back a little bit, take it down to, I don't know, somewhere around in here. And then this one here, we're just going to take it to 0. We're just going to take it right to 0, and then we can kind of get a curve that we want to go around, something like that, right? And you can, if you want to, you can play around with this curve, you know, wherever you think is best, depending on, you know, the design wise. So that one, you know, it's all personal preference, but you know, we'll just go ahead and say that's good for right there. Okay, now here's one that might be interesting. I'm going to go to arc direction, third one down, and I'm just going to pick out here in this direction. So I got it maybe 1.5 or something like that out. I'm just going to hold down shift, kind of get it close somewhere around there. So it's a little over 1.3. So I'll just click, and then I'll just hold down and then click there. Now, of course, you can see I didn't try to put it in the center, so I'm just going to do that now. Go ahead and then snap it to my center, and then I'm going to drag it back to where I think that I may want it. So something like that, perhaps. Okay, now we can go back to our curves, and we can go to our blend curve again, and we'll just go from, you could, if you wanted to, just blend from there over to here. That's fine as well. There's, you know, there's tons of different ways to do it. I'm just going to go ahead and do it this way for right now, and this point here we'll take down here so we get a little blend going in, something like that. And I'll go ahead and take that, and oh no, no, it's not, oh no, it's no big deal. So that curve disappeared. We just come over here, go to the one that's darkened or blacked out. Just go to the 3 dots, and we can go show, and we got it back again. No biggie. All right, so I went ahead and right clicked. I got blend curve back again. I'm going to go from here again to here, and that's our first curve, so we need to flip that one. And the one way down here on the end again, we're just going, I don't want to click on that. We'll just grab that point and just drag it somewhere where we think we want it. And this one again, we'll take it to 0, and then we'll just kind of, so I can grab that point a little easier, move that handle out of the way, just kind of get a nice little curve action on it or something like that, you know. And we've got a little flat edge there. It's no big deal for right now. All right, so I'll go back and turn off my green, so I can't select that, and I can't select my stone. The only thing I can select is my yellow curves, right? And I'll just go ahead right now and we'll join those together, and then we'll just go ahead and take them, and we'll just go ahead and rebuild. So we have this, and we have it's a 0.05. That's probably fine, and that looks like it takes care of that little smoothness there. I'm just going to go ahead and say that's good. All right, so there we go. We've got all that. Of course, now all our blend curves are gone, so it might be a good idea if you want to maybe adjust these a little bit later before we join all them together. Actually, I think what we can do is take all that and go to our tools, and we can join them together, and then click, and now we still have the blends, but they're all turned off right now, right? This one, when you do point editing, you're not really going to have any kind of parametric history. It's all going to be done you know, as you do it, right? It's sort of like earlier Matrix programs, right? So you have to think along those lines. So it's a good idea to start maybe going ahead and saving things a little more often. So when we go back to certain points, if we don't like what we want to go back, it's a lot easier, right? So I'm just going to go over here, and I'll just start a new job bag, and I'll call it organic ring. And we'll just say it's an organic ring. So the first thing I'm going to do is, of course, it's only going to select that one, but I'm going to do a full save. So you can see it saves all this in my viewport, even though I only had the one curve selected. And it also saves everything that's locked and hidden over here. So I don't have to worry about it. I have everything saved, and I have all my dynamic commands saved as well. All right. So this is the curve that we have now. Now we want to go ahead and flow that up to our ring rail. So what we're going to do, yeah, okay, I want to turn off this. We'll lock that again. I don't need it. We'll turn it off. No, I do need it, and we need it on. Sorry. Let's see. Okay, so we want to do what we're going to do. We could do a flow, but you can see this is way out here, so it's going to do some crazy stuff. Curve from two views, right? So we'll just go ahead, and we have this at the diameter of this. We have this line the same length of this. So the best thing to do is just go to transform, scroll down here to get your flow along curve. And what we'll do is we'll select that curve, and that is our object we're going to flow. So we'll hit enter, and then we'll select this curve here, and then our ring rail, and it kind of snaps it out there. And as you can see, that little curve is at a higher rate, right? Now, if you want to, you can manipulate this curve, because we have parametric. Maybe you want it a little smaller, right? Or maybe you want to move it up a little. So you can change it from here, right? So here is another good point to go ahead and just kind of full bag it, because you never know, you might want to go back and say, you know, I don't really like that, or whatever. We'll take this and we'll hide it down here and turn it to here. And all these should be okay. There's another one here. Let's take this and hide it. Yeah, okay. And show. All right, so we just want to get rid of those extra pieces. You want to keep them, because if you don't, if you go in here and try to delete it, oh, we didn't break history. Okay, well, it's probably better to keep them, though. You never know, right? So we'll just turn it off. All right, so we have all this out here, and that goes well above our end here, right? So I think that's okay. So now at this point, what I'm going to do, excuse me, I'm going to leave my blue or my gem locked. I'm going to go ahead and unlock my red, and I'm going to go ahead and lock my ring rail. I'm just going to select everything that we put out here, and I am going to drag it down to here, and then I'm going to turn everything off, and I'll just go ahead and lock it for sake there, and we'll take this and we'll go ahead and change it to there. All right. So everything, we're getting it cleaned up a little bit so that we can kind of work with everything a little bit easier, right? Okay, so now we have our ring rail and our curve out here, and our ring rail is locked and our gemstone is locked. So the only thing I can click on is my yellow curve, creation curve. All right, so what we're going to do is, like I said, we're going to do surface modeling. So the easiest way to do is just to go ahead and grab it, of course, and put some profiles on it, right? So we'll probably want to go into all viewports at this point so we can kind of keep an eye. And as you can see, it's kind of angled off a little bit. Doesn't have to be perfect right now. You can just kind of lay them out there how you want, but kind of get them centered up if you can. And then I'm going to go ahead and make a very, very simple profile to make it very easy for us to get this surface to get started with, right? So I'm just going to go scroll down here and pick a square profile there, and I'll manipulate it this way to maybe like a 2.5. I can hold down shift and it'll lock it in, and this is 2, and I'm going to leave this at 2. Normally I would drag it out to 2.5, but it's not going to be flat, right? Because what we're going to do is we're going to start manipulating. So right now you could say that 2.5 is right here, and we're going to maybe bumping it out, right? So eventually it'll probably come closer to a 2.5. So I'm just going to leave this right here like this. And if we look at our item here, it's flat going around all this way, right? And then all of a sudden, right around in here, it starts to twist. So this edge here starts to become our top edge, or the inside edge, and then it kind of goes to maybe the inside. It's hard to tell, and then it kind of swirls back to the outside, and it goes down, and then comes across. So, but you know, so we want to kind of get that type of layout with our stones to make it just easier for later on. So what we're going to do is that first one, we'll just go ahead and drop it right in here, and again you can see it's a little angled. We'll just go ahead and make that straight for right now, and we'll just start dropping profiles out, and we'll drop one right in here around our quad with our stone, right? So right in here, it doesn't have to be exactly perfect, especially for right now, and we'll drop it somewhere like that, and we'll drop one over here, and again what we'll do is make that one just straight up and down, and then we'll drop one over here. Probably don't need this many, but you know, why not for right now. And then here it starts to dip under here, and then it goes over the top. So we'll just go ahead and place one here. We may or may not need it, but it's better to have it at this point. So we'll select that blue curve there, so we can kind of set it straight up. And actually, I'll keep it there, but I'm not going to use it for the first sweep. We'll check it out. And then right around in here, we'll just drop one, and again, just kind of get it to where it's kind of straight. Now this next one, if we zoom in here, you can see it's going to this line if I click on it, or it will snap over to this line. So you got to be a little cautious here. We're going to snap it over to the right here just a little bit, and then we'll just leave that one there. And I don't know that I like that curve actually. Oh, it's all right because I'm looking down at, yeah, there we go. All right, so we'll just click one here, and again, we'll just kind of get it like this. Now I can't see what's going on this other side, but I'm assuming it's kind of like dipping right inside there maybe. So I'm going to go ahead and take this one right away and just kind of make it a little smaller and make it a little thinner just for fun for right now. And then right click. So we have a ton of profiles out here. We got a big spaghetti mess going on, right? All right, so let's go ahead. Now let's just see what we've got and what we need to work with. So that, like I said, that first one I'm not going to choose, but I think it's probably better if we do. But we'll click on it. We'll just click here, sweep one parametric. We'll click here. We'll go here. It comes up to this one here, to this one, to that one, to that one. I'll skip that one for right now just to see how it lays out. And that one, and that one, and that one, and then right click, and we've got a surface. Okay, and that one, that's to be expected for right now. And we got it. Yeah, we'll keep it. We'll leave that one off for right now and see if we need it. And we don't need or don't want any of this stuff here. And actually, I'm going to go back. I am going to sweep it because I want to be able to adjust that maybe up and down. So so it goes underneath, have more control over it, right? And this one here, let's go ahead and do this one first. This one's coming up. So let's just go ahead and take that, not that one. This one here. So click on the ball there and get that, and we'll just bump that up a little bit. We'll take this one and bump that one down a little just for fun. And now let's go ahead and do the sweep one. We'll select our curve again, 1 coming up, 2, 3, 4, 5 around, coming back through again, and do something like this and right click, and there we go. Yeah, that's not too bad. This is coming up, that's going under, that's disappeared for right now, but that's okay. We don't need any of those caps, so we're just going to delete them for right now. And then I'll right click to accept it. And there we go. So we have this shape out here so far. We got a little major thing going on there, but that's okay for right now. All right, so we have that, and now we need to maybe start getting in a line, because this shape here is all flat, right? And we need to start making it a little bit of more like our item there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start up here, and we'll click that one, and we'll just start editing these around, right? So the first one, when I bend this, it's going to take this edge here and turn it in, right? So I'm going to drag it out a little bit and kind of keep an eye on my curves and find out where my curve is. So I can kind of maybe put it right there on the edge of my curve or close to it. So I get, it's just for visual sake for right now. It doesn't have to be perfect. So I'm going to turn this one in, because that curve comes up and then it goes to the top, right? So depending on how deep you want it in, and then I'm just going to drag it up so that it's back closer to my ring rail, right? So something like that, something crazy, right? And then I'm going to go over here and click on this one, and we'll go to this viewport here, and so I can kind of see what's going on here. And this one here, what I'm going to do is go in to grab that blue one, and I am going to do this kind of the same thing. Well, no, wrong direction. I want it curved in, right? And then out, so that I get that roundness going around it, right? And you can take it out as far as you want. We'll just say something like this. And we got to dip down. Maybe you don't want that dip down. It's really all personal preference. You can bump it up a little bit if that's what you're wanting, or you can take it down a little bit. But we'll just do something like, that's a little far off, so let's drag it back a little. Maybe we can drag it down a little and then drag it so we can kind of get the shape that we want. And that curve, it's still kind of far out there, right? So let's go ahead and really do some drastic stuff. So now it's going really in there, right? And we'll just take this one here and bump that out, and we'll just drag it out. So now we get something like that. You can play around with that, get a different shape depending on how it looks, right? We'll just move on for right now. And now that edge is more closer to the inside. You can keep on playing around with that to get it exactly where you want it. And we'll just do something like this for right now. So that edge is coming up, and now it's coming across in our center, and then we want it over in here. So we're going to go to this side here. And again, what I'll do is I'll kind of keep an eye on here and move it from here so I can get it to see where my curve is. So something maybe like that. And then we'll angle it something like this here, so that curve's kind of coming, and we'll bump it out. And of course we want to, you can see right here, we're going to drag it out a little bit so that it goes, that's a little too much maybe. So I'm going to take it down a little and then move it in. Just kind of play around with it till you get a nice look that you're wanting. All right. So something like that there, we'll say. Yeah, that's okay. So this curve now is, if you look here, this curve's coming up and it's going to the top and then it's going out, right? So it's coming up, going to the top, and then going around, right? So something like that. All right. Now here comes the fun part. This part you just have to be patient with. And this one kind of dips down something crazy like that, but it doesn't really matter at this point. Let's go to, because we can manipulate all that later. So we'll just go in here and see. I really don't think let's go ahead and first I'm going to go ahead and take it, and then I'm just going to go ahead and job bag it, right? So I can always come back, right? I'm going to go back in here, and I just want to see what this looks like without this profile. So I'm going to come over here. Oh, before I do that, I can scroll down, I can delete it. Oh, wrong profile. Let's go back. Abort command. Well, we'll just keep it for right now. Might as well. But you can check to see what it looks like. Maybe you don't need it. We'll go ahead and drag that one because it kind of goes something like that. And of course it's down, so we want to drag it up. Maybe drag it out a little. You know, it just really depends. Maybe make it a little thinner. Just a total preference on your own part. Yeah. Okay. Now this one here, we're just going to take it and let's see. We'll go ahead and first we'll drag it out. Something like this. Maybe give it a little bit of spin here, action going on, right? And then we'll thin it down just a little so it goes underneath there, and we can manipulate it however we want for right now. Yeah. For right now, I think that's okay. You can put more spin on it if you wanted to. Drag it over, drag it down, drag it up. For right now, just kind of getting everything to where we want it, right? Now this one, we probably want to drag up, and of course you can see it's kind of bunching up in there, so we'll just go ahead and drag it out to make it more rounded. And then that one looks okay. If you want to, you could, you know, move that one around as well. Just depends on how you're wanting it to lay out. Let's see, which one do I want? This one here. And drag it in a little. Maybe make it a little bit bigger so that comes out. Yeah. Okay. And you can, you know, just play around with it to get it to wherever you think that is best for whatever you're wanting. Oh, I just right clicked on it. So I'm going to go ahead and select that one. Deselect that one. And then go back over here, and I think we probably should go ahead and make that one a little smaller there, and we can probably drag it back out. Yeah, there we go. All right, just play around with it wherever you want. Okay, and as you can see, it's not going over, so what we can do is we can go to this one here and make that just a little bit maybe larger, coming up something like that, so it goes underneath, right? And that one is kind of pretty close, so we'll just go back to this one, go ahead and bump that up a little bit so that it gives us a little bit more height, and that's looking okay for right now. 1.9, we'll just bump that out a little bit and then drag it back. So there's all kind of manipulation you can do in there. Excuse me. But once you get it in a shape that you're kind of content with, go ahead, just accept it. And then again, you want to probably go ahead and full job bag it, just so in case we want to go back and manipulate it even more, right? At this point, say we start getting going on further up and we're like, you know what, I just really don't like it, I want to start all over. You can delete it and go back and just start from this point here, and you have parametric history on all those rails and everything, right? We'll just say that this is good for now. Now, at this point, we are going to break pretty much all history. So we have those rails saved. We have everything over here saved. So I'm just going to go ahead and select all that yellow, and we are going to get rid of it. And if I select this, it's all one piece, and it's going to be, you know, this is going to go through here, and that's coming around. So how are you going to Boolean and Union and get rid of all that insights? That we'll get to that toward the end, so stick around for that. And what we'll try to do is keep it all in NURBS and poly surfaces without having to mesh repair, but you never know. Sometimes you might have to mesh repair, so keep all that in mind as we move forward. But I'm going to select this right now, and I'm just going to nuke it. But before I do, yeah, I got it nuked. I'll go back one. If I select it and I turn on points, I can't turn on points, cannot turn on points on poly surface. It's on 1, 2, 3, 4. I kept it 5. It's 2 pieces here. So what I'm going to do is take it and I'm going to nuke it. Now I have surface so I can turn on points, right? But we don't want to turn on points just yet. We want to turn this poly surface, or these multiple poly surfaces, well, now they're NURB surfaces, single surfaces. We want to put them all into one major surface, right? NURB surface. So what we're going to do is come down here to Edit Tools in our Surface menu and go to Merge, right? So the first one I'll do is I'll just do this one here and this one here, and then right-click, bring it back. We'll select that and select this one, and right-click, select that one, right-click, select that one, and there's one more right there. That it? Somewhere over that one. All right, and you want to check it, so we'll just grab everything and hide it, and there's no green left out there, so it's now a NURB surface. So if I turn on points, we can turn on points on it now, right? Okay, but it's kind of squared off and not really cool looking, right? Nothing like what we want as far as according to this one here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to rebuild, rebuild this surface, right? And you can do a preview where you get the lines and you can kind of see. Now, there's a couple things we're looking for. I think it's the V direction. The V direction, I think this is V, and then these are the U. I could be wrong. These could be vertical, these could be unilateral. But anyway, we want those to be fairly low, and we want these to be fairly high. And the reason being is because we want to keep the shape, right? So right now our shape is kind of not a real big deal. You can go ahead and set it to whatever you want. Just make sure these are 3-3, and a delete input. We'll just keep it on our current layer, and if there's any trimming or anything, it'll just go ahead and do that for us, and we'll just go ahead OK, right? So you can go ahead and check this out if you wanted to. Let's turn it back to green here, and then let's go ahead and turn on our points on it. So we have a boatload of points out there, but our vertical or our direction this way, there's not so many, which I like. And this part here, it's a little jacked up, but there again, you know, it's more of an organic feel, right? So you can kind of manipulate that. It kind of makes it look a little bit more realistic, right? The reason why I put so many points on it is because I want to try and keep these edges right here fairly smooth, right? So at this point, I just go ahead and take this, but I really don't want all those points. So I'm going to take 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to take all these over to the 1, 2, 3 and leave those. I'm going to come down here to my command line and SET, I think it's V. SelV, I believe, and then hit enter. Yeah, V is that direction. Okay, so let's go back and click on those points again. I'm gonna SelU, right, and then select that. And as you can see, all those little red lines on all those going all the way around those points are all selected. So all those ISO curves are selected. I'm going to delete it. Yeah, just delete it. Just because I want to maybe mess around with the edges here to begin with. So I'm going to select all these points. I'm going to select these, hold down shift, and grab all these on this edge here. And go down here, right click, and select my U direction, and then delete them, right? And most definitely you want to delete these here. And I am going to take, we saved that one there, right? But this time I'm going to take all these and then go in here, select U, and then delete it. And then over here, we want to keep this one here, but did we keep the one on the other side? Yeah, we did. So let's keep that one as well. So we'll go ahead and select all these, right click, click on select U, and delete. All right, so now we just have a nice smooth surface with very, very minimal points. And the only reason why I did it this way is because in case you don't like this being flat here and then the more pointed there, what you can do is you can come in here and select those 2 points right here. Say you want it more flat. Now let's before I get going, I'm going to go ahead and take this and full save it so I can come back to this point. If you wanted this part here, you don't like the way this is on the ring or whatever, you want to maybe drag them down. So I'm going to go ahead and select that point. I'll select that one first. Hold down shift, select this one. I can take those points and just kind of drag them down, right? And now I can do that all the way around to this top. Select my top one first and then my bottom one, and then drag that down. And you can see I can get that to match up to my ring rail, right? And you can play around with these. You only want those 2 though. You can play around with these to get that edge. Again, take the top one, take the bottom one, and then just drag them down. And you could drag them over if you wanted. Now when I select these 2 by going like this, I'm looking over here to make sure it's not, like selected any on that other side. So and you can get pretty accurate. This is sort of like SelU and sub D. It's just going to take a little bit more time to lay everything out, move everything around. I'm just going to do a little piece of this to kind of show you what, if you wanted to, what you can do. And then I'll select that and bring them down like that. And then I'll select these 2 over here. And we'll take that top and maybe we want to bring that down something like this. So I guess the only reason why I'm showing it, maybe you want this edge to be more flat like that, where it's going with the shank more versus going at an angle like that, right? So just do that to as far as you want to go, like right in here, bring those down, if that's what you want, right? I'm going to go ahead and just say that for sake of speed, that we don't want this. We're fine with that little ledge going around. So I'm just going to go ahead and take all this and delete it. And actually, we'll just go ahead and clean this up, get rid of it, because we have it saved right here already, right? So as soon as, that was just kind of for show, but if you wanted to do it that way, you could do it that way, and it will come out fine. No big deal. And the reason why we got rid of all those other points is to make it easier to drag those down, right? Okay, so we got it back, and we have our little ledge there, and we're fine with that, we'll say. Maybe there's some manipulation you want to do in it. Maybe you'd like to have these 2 a little down or something or whatever. I always do the bottom one first. So, I mean, whatever you're wanting, right? So, excuse me. So now we have a shape like this going on, right? And also we were talking about this here before I get going any further. Let's go back. Let's turn on those points. If you didn't like that area right here, it's by getting rid of all those other points, it's a lot easier to manipulate that around, right? You know, if you wanted to clean that up a little bit, or maybe you want to go in here and up some points, right? Let's see where they at. Yeah, they look like they're all 3. Yeah, grab those. Maybe you want to drag those up a little bit, something like that. You know, just be careful what you're picking. Keep an eye on it, that you're picking all the right ones, and you could manipulate it like crazy to get your shape the way you want it to get before you get going on everything else. So okay, let's just say we got our shape and we changed it all up. So what good time to go ahead and job bag again, just so you don't have to worry about going back in case you mess something up, right? Okay, so now we kind of got our shape. It's coming flat, going flat here. All of a sudden it takes a drastic turn here. That edge goes to our top. So it comes in, it goes to our top, swirls around there, comes through and goes down around here and then around, right? So we kind of got the shape of what we want, right? So at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to need some more curves to be able to manipulate things, right? So what we'll do is we'll come down to our command line, type in insert knot, K-N-O-T. If you insert a kink, it'll be sharp, and we want knots. So we'll select here, and right now, since it's going to want to, as you can see, it's snapping to my ring rail. So we're just going to go ahead and boop that out of the way. And actually, we'll just get rid of the stone for right now, too. Now, right here, right, we have a little U going around, but I'm thinking we might want it a little tighter. So we're going to go ahead and add a couple in here. Right in here, kind of in the middle. It doesn't matter. We can move them around. So we'll take that, and then we'll just, I don't know, we'll drop a couple in here, something like that. And again, over here on this side, we'll maybe want to bump that one out. I don't know. It just depends. So we'll just kind of place one here. And what it does is it just makes that curve a little tighter. And we'll put one there. I don't know, there. It doesn't matter. The only part that you don't want to put is on your bottom. You want to keep your bottom as clean as possible, in my opinion, unless you want to do a hollow or something, I guess, because you could do that pretty easy. So we're going to snap some in here, and we'll snap one right in there. Okay, so now we have a lot more ISO curves out there, and when I click on it and turn on points, we have a lot more points now. So now we can really do some manipulation. Yeah, maybe those are a little close together, huh? Let's turn ghosted mode on. Is there a point in there? This one doesn't have a point on it. Imagine. Okay. Or not that I can see. Wireframe. Yeah, no point on that one. All right. So we'll go ahead and, well, we'll take this one. Come down to our line here. Right click. Go to that select U again. And we'll go to transform. We'll scroll down here to move ISO curve, and we can move those ISO curves in a direction. So maybe we want that curve a little bit larger, and maybe this one here, go back in here, click select U, and we can move that over, not that way. Let's undo that. Let's back out of that real quick. I want to select this one. Yeah, there we go. I want it back to where it was, but I have it selected here. And actually, I'm going to click off it and just make sure. Okay, move that one back. So I'll go forward. I want that one there, but I want to try and keep this as flat as possible. So I'll select that and then go in here, select my select U, and we'll do vertical here. Yeah, you can see it's moving it vertical, and we'll just put it right there. All right, now we'll select those 3. Excuse me. We'll give it some shading here, and I'm going to go to my normal. So what it's going to do is it's going to drag all those points out in the normal direction. So something like, however big you want it, something like that. Oh, you definitely want to remember to hit your select U, and then we'll drag it out so it selects all those, and you can make that as big as you want. And if we click off of it now, we can see we have our first curve going around there now. So it's going around, right? And maybe you don't like that little indentation or something. You know, there's really everything is open now. You can do a lot of things. You can go in here. You want that to be a little bit smoother, say. Is there a point in here? Yep, there's a point here. So I'm going to go ahead and select my U, and you could just delete it so it'll change up that surface, right? Maybe you want it a little smoother, right? So something like that. And of course right there, but no worries just yet. We'll go ahead and we'll just go ahead and just kind of put some swirlies in there or whatever there are, indentations and stuff, just to play around with it for right now. And then we'll come back and take a look at it. So let's say, I don't know, let's say like these two here, we want to bump out a little bit, make it a little, oh, again, don't forget to select your U, all your points, and then go to normal, so it drags them out in the normal direction. So we got something like that going on. We'll come over here to the side, and let's say, I don't know, we'll take we'll take these two, go to your select U. We'll go ahead and drag those out in our normal direction, something like that. And then come over to our other side, and let's see, maybe we want to do a little, I don't know, indentation on this side. So we'll grab two of them. We'll go here, select U, and this time we'll take it the opposite direction. Just something like that. So we got a little indentation, if you like that. And you can always turn off your points, take a look, see what you got going on. We'll take these three here, go down here, select U, drag those points out a little bit, and you can kind of see we get some crazy design going on out here, right? Okay, so we have that, and as you can see now, that's pretty much, most of it's cleaned up, but not all of it. So we can take that, and at this point, you can come in here and start to select individual points, right? So maybe we want to select this one here, this one here, this one over here, and we just want those points because maybe we want to drop them down. So I can go to my normal and go to the negative side, and you can see it kind of drops them down a little bit. You can go ahead and do your it's a little harder to see, but you can see the line here going across, and the next one would be right here. So you can take this point, hold down shift, this point, and that's all we want. We don't want to select them all, and drag those down, and we can kind of see what's going on here. So you can see it's going in. So just fine tuning it at this point, right? Wherever you think that you might want to add or take away certain areas. We'll just, for sake of the video, you can go through and fine tune it like crazy. So no big deal. Yeah, maybe select this one. You can always just use your edge too, to clean up things as well. But it's better to keep it in, let's see, I want to grab that one. No dice. I have to go to my wireframe. Or I can turn it, yeah, that would be okay. Grab those two, go back to here so I can kind of see what's going on, and we'll drag that in a negative. Yeah, so you can really fine tune it if you want. We'll just say that this is good to go. So if we select in here, we've got something like this going on, right? So bing, bing. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So you can see it's going around, and the more you play around with them, the more control and surface you're going to be able to change up. So you could always, if you wanted this one, and this one, just those two, you could drag them up, or you can pull them up. you know, depending on what you want. You can drag them in. You know, you could do it over here too, rotate them. There's just tons of stuff that you could move in the vertical or horizontal. Little small manipulations that you can do if you wanted to, but we'll just, for the sake of the video and speed and everything, I think you get the idea. We'll just go ahead and say this is good for what we want, right? So let's go back and turn on our stone again, and it's locked, so we'll just take it and we'll pick it and we'll edit it and we'll start to bring it up to where we want. All right, so maybe we want it like right in here. Maybe we want to bump it over a little bit to get a little bit more gap through there, whatever. And again, you could use those points, you know, and if you want to open up that gap, let's lock that stone. You know, maybe you wanted to move this edge over. You could just go ahead, select all those, go back to your Move UVN, or you could just drag them over to open that up, depending on what you're looking for. And I did something crazy there, which is stupid, but you can move them around, right? So don't be afraid to do that. Let's go ahead and select our stone, bump it up, and we'll just say we want a little bit more opening right there, and we'll just lock it in there. We'll go to our head settings and put our head on there, and of course we want to bump that up a little bit, and you can change your head however you want. Let's go ahead and turn off this, and let's drag these prongs down, maybe bump them up just a little bit, maybe not so big. We can, you know, you could do all kind of manipulation there. The head's not something I'm going to focus on right now, so let's say that's good. All right, and now we need to get the rest of it, right? So and probably should have dragged that up a little bit from our ring rail, because if I put my ring rail out there, it's kind of going, it's pretty close, but not too bad. You could have dragged that up before we put all those extra points and started manipulating. Anyway, and really it's not, by the time you round it off, it's not going to affect it too much anyway. So we have our it's a nerve surface out here, and it's open. Right now there's a couple things here real quick. If I try to take it and I try to just cap it, CAP, right, cap it, I can see that I can probably cap this edge here, but if I look with my wireframe in here, I cannot cap that edge there. That edge is not capped, right? So we want to cap this edge here. So what I'm going to do is turn on points on again, maybe turn on point, take our item. Oh, I capped it. That's right. So I need to go back. There we go. All right. So I need to go in here, and I want to select one of those points I know for a fact that is on that curve right there. I'm going to select one, and then I'm going to come down here, and this time I'm going to do, instead of select the U, I'm going to select the V. So now it goes just all those points around that curve, right? And I'm going to go to all viewports, and we'll go to wireframe here, make it easy. And I'm going to type in SETPT, set points, right? So now I can set points, and I think I want them in my white. I want to make them all straight, because right now you can see that they're not all straight. So I'm going to set, turn off my X, turn off my Z, and then hit OK. And then I'm going to just kind of bring it in and click. And now you can see that they're all lined up. So now I have a planar curve there, right? So if I turn all those points off, I select this item again, go back to CAP, cap, and then hit enter. Now I select it. I have a closed poly surface, right? Which is what I want. But we have all this going through here, this coming around here, going in there. It's like going crazy, right? Okay. So what we want to do is we want to fix that. So the easiest way to do it, and now like I said, there's a lot of different ways. We could have done this Clay U or sub D, but this is just one way, right? So we'll go ahead and click on our line curve here, and I'm going to go ahead and just turn off snaps for a second. turn off snaps, and I'm just going to draw a line right through here, right? So now I know that's plain, excuse me, that's planar. So I'm going to select this, I'm going to split it with this here, and then hit enter, right? So I have this curve. All right, and so I have this piece here, and I have this piece here. All right, so let's take this one and we'll just hide it. All right, and I'm going to take this and type in CAP cap, and I have a closed poly surface. So I'm going to take this, change to this color, hide it, bring back our original item, and this one over here is capped, but this one is not, right? But it's a planar curve, so I can just take it, CAP, enter, right? And now I have that capped, so I can bring back this. So this is a solid closed poly surface, watertight. This is a closed poly surface, watertight, right? Okay, so now I need to finish it off, right? So easiest way to finish it off is just scroll down to your very end here. From objects, just click here, go to duplicate edge, and then select the edge. I'm going to hold down shift and control and select shift and control. Okay, well, I'm going to click off of it, hold down shift and control. Got that. Then I'll go to point from object and duplicate border, and I have it set to yellow, so it should duplicate it to yellow, and it is. But since we duplicated it, we don't know where our seam point is, right? So I'm going to click on my curve and go to my curve there, and we'll just go to edit tools and find out where exactly is that seam point. Okay, it's way over here, so we want to go ahead maybe and drag it to our middle there. At this point we can probably turn back on snaps, and we'll snap to that quad right there, right? And it broke history for that curve, so no big deal. All right, so now I'll select that curve, and we'll go to all perspectives here, and I will go to rotate, copy, yes, from F4, drag it out somewhere like that, and then just kind of drag it in so that it's going to copy it right in that area there, let's say, and then click off of it, right? And now I can go to wireframe, and there's my curve, and there's my curve. I can do a surface one with this curve. Well, it's locked, so unlock it. This curve here, this curve here, this curve here, right click, and it's going in the wrong direction, so I'm going to flip that direction. I'm going to turn all this off, and click enter, and then I'm going to click here and type in CAP and enter. Okay, and that broke history, right? No big deal. So I have a closed poly surface, closed poly surface, and I'm just checking closed poly surface, right? So I have those out there, all closed poly surface. Now, like I said, we were going to try and keep it in nerve. Sometimes it works, sometimes you have to do a mesh repair, but either way should take care of it. So at this point, we don't want our head in there, right, or our stone, so we'll just turn that off right now, and we'll just try to join all this together so we can make one surface. So a Boolean union, this surface here, enter with this surface here, and enter, and we got our first surface with no problem. So we'll take this piece here and we'll change that to gray and turn it off, and I think we might have one here, just the one surface, and we'll turn that to gray there. So we have this as one, and it's a closed poly surface. So far so good. So we'll do the Boolean union again from here, enter to here, and enter, and that should be one there we want to get rid of. And now we have a finished item, closed poly surface, ready to print. And somewhat, that curve could have gone over a little bit with just adjusting. So right in here you can drag it over, or mess around with it, but yeah, for the most part not too bad, right? So there you go. And then if of course you got nice little curves going around. So hopefully that helps you, and if it does, please leave me a comment. I'd really appreciate it. Tap on that notification bell, hit like, share the content. Thanks for watching, and seriously good designing. I'll be traveling for the next 3 weeks abroad, so I may or may not be able to put up content. I'm going to try to make some content that'll pop up while I'm gone, but I will be heading back to the US for a little while, several weeks. So until then, thanks a lot, and I really appreciate everybody for supporting me. Thanks again. Good designing.